Day for your chance to score awesome prizes, including Mall of America mystery cards, tons of other great prizes as well. Get your details now, KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
All right, welcome back to the Tennafitzgerald. Brett Blakemore with me. Typically, we would do 5 questions right now. We are going to delay it, which is always dangerous with Kevin O'Connell because the press conference can say 1 o'clock. That doesn't mean it's going to start at 1 o'clock. So we might just have like a tap dancing segment here. That's the risk you take when you have KOC pressers on. At some point, we will do 5 questions today. And, of course, I have to reveal my fantasy football league winner at the running back position. So we'll do that at some point in the 1 o'clock hour. Mark Rosen will join in the 2 o'clock hour. I'm sure he has plenty of thoughts on Kyler Murray being named the starting quarterback. There's lots of thoughts on the KFAN Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line at 64686. I see this one that says, how do Murray's first couple of years compare to McCarthy's? Has Kyler shown development in his time as an NFL quarterback? I've seen a couple of these types of takes in the Bradshaw and Bryant inbox of, well, you're ready to give up on J.J. McCarthy after 2 years and change, but what has Kyler Murray done during his time? Why, he's actually just been bad for longer. And I think I tried to explain this earlier. When you go after one person and say that the other one should be a starter, then people then think you are a defender of that person, right? Like, if I say I think Kyler Murray should start, then people think I'm a big Kyler Murray guy. I really like him and think that he's going to be the guy. Frankly, I don't have a lot of confidence in either. I do think Kyler Murray has a higher ceiling than J.J. McCarthy off of what I've seen. Now, we've had a lot more of Kyler Murray to see, and he has been underwhelming in Arizona. But in terms of early on in their careers, like Kyler actually flashed early in his career. Year 2 as a 23-year-old, he threw for almost 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He was named a Pro Bowler in year 2. He was named a Pro Bowler in year 3. Now, after those first 3 years, it looked like, hey, Kyler Murray's on a trajectory to be, top 10 type quarterback in the National Football League. That has not happened. Now, injuries is a big reason for that. He has only played one full season since 2020, and that was in 2024. Which, by the way, he was named he was 10th in Offensive Player of the Year voting that year. I do think Arizona just got to the point where they've had Kyler for 7 years. They're paying him a lot of money. And, they're not winning. They're not going to the playoffs. I also think part of this is next year is a good quarterback class. I think teams like Arizona, Miami, maybe the New York Jets will be in that conversation. I think Arizona just said we are going to tank and try to get a top quarterback next year. We're trying to hit the reset button. We're trying to pull a San Antonio Spurs where we're going to intentionally rebuild, make our team. We're going to tank, give ourselves a chance to get Victor Wembanyama. And if we land that number 1 pick, we are set for the next 13, 14 years. And I do think Arizona's doing that. Why do I think that? Because it's not like they let Kyler go and then opted to replace him with someone better. Their quarterback this year is Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew and Carson Beck. That is their quarterback room. One of the worst in football. They didn't identify Jacoby Brissett as, hey, this guy's going to upgrade over Kyler Murray and give us a chance. They're not trying to make the playoffs this year, which is why I think they were willing to let Kyler go. Because Kyler probably would have been good enough to get them out of like that top 5 quarterback range. So, I get it if you don't think Kyler Murray is going to be good, and I'm not certain he's going to be good.
You did pick him for the fantasy winning
fantasy quarterback is different than reality quarterback. Right?
It is.
Being a fantasy quarterback, like, you know who else I would like as a fantasy quarterback in that range? Malik Willis in Miami, your former backup quarterback in Green Bay. Now, do I think Malik Willis is going to lead the Dolphins to a 12-5 record, and they're going to threaten the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills in the AFC East? No. Do I think Malik Willis is going to have some problems this year? Is he going to throw some interceptions? Is he going to have some awful games? Yes. But Malik Willis has fantasy scoring is different than quarterback scoring, because if you can run the ball, which Malik Willis can, and which Kyler Murray can to a certain extent. If fantasy football didn't allow rushing from your quarterbacks, I would not have Kyler Murray as my potential top 5 quarterback in fantasy. Kyler Murray has never really proven to be a top 5 quarterback. And there's been questions about his work ethic. There's been questions about his leadership. But physically, he can throw a good ball. He's very mobile. When's the last time we had a quarterback as mobile as Kyler Murray? Dante, get your roll on. So he can extend plays. He can scramble for some first downs, which we've been desperately needing, especially with our offensive line play. It'd be nice to have a quarterback that can move around a little bit. So fantasy scoring is different than reality scoring. I get the doubts on Kyler Murray. I have some of them myself. But when I'm comparing my two options, right, it's like, how many times have we had a presidential election where you have two options you don't like, but you got to just pick one that you think is the lesser of the two evils?
Every election.
Well, yeah. We tend not to have a lot of great options when it comes to that, which is amazing to me. Like, when you vote for someone, that doesn't necessarily mean, man, I'm 100% behind this person. I think they're the best person for the job. It's, well, these are our two options, and I'm trying to figure out which one gives us the best chance at improving the economy and making life better for Americans. I'm trying to decide between Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy, who can make Vikings fans happier. There's a very good chance that Kyler Murray will disappoint us all. But when I look at a quarterback that has a better chance to get us to the playoffs, a better chance to win in the playoffs, get us to a big game, Kyler Murray has the highest ceiling. And he's proven it. He's had a couple years in which he showed that he has a high ceiling. And you could argue, right, if you want to make the J.J. McCarthy, Kyler Murray comparison, J.J. McCarthy has performed poorly in this system with these offensive players and with this head coach. Kyler Murray might perform poorly with all those guys as well, but he has not had an opportunity to do that. You could argue Kyler's situation in Arizona was, and I'm sure he didn't help in any regard, but his situation was not good in Arizona. Coaching carousel, changing offenses, never, I shouldn't say never. DeAndre Hopkins is pretty good there for a stretch, but didn't have dynamic weapons. His weapons are better here. His offensive play caller is better here. He could still fail because he just, he might be playing video games on a Thursday night instead of getting in his playbook. All right, it's not all, but I think that's also part of it. Like, if you want to compare Kyler's years and JJ's years, well, Kyler's had a couple better years than JJ's had, and he did it in probably a worse situation. We've already seen JJ in this situation. So, let me go back to the text line unless you have something to add there, Brett. I mean, you look like you wanted to talk.
I'm just fascinated by the reaction that we're getting right now. That I thought when it would come down, that would be that. Because and the text line isn't reality. Twitter isn't reality.
No, it's not.
But for the reaction that I was seeing from Vikings fans was, it's Kyler, what are we doing here? And all of a sudden today, it's like JJ just got screwed over. And it's just the other people that are now more vocal. But like, here's a text from a texter guy, Charlie. Isn't saying for every Darnold there are 100 quarterbacks that don't make it an argument against Kyler. Not saying Murray is the future, but 10 games isn't enough sample size for JJ. Murray had an extended chance and hasn't blown the roof off by any means in 7 years. Here's another one, 507 guy. We give McCarthy 10 games to prove himself and has a winning record, and we are starting Murray, who has 7 years and has a losing record, looking good. So
I love the winning record argument.
Well, I mean, just some quick fire stats.
Do you think J.J. McCarthy's play was the reason the Vikings had a winning record during his stretch? The defense is the reason they had a winning record during that time. The defense was the star last year. And a lot of J.J. McCarthy's wins also were at the end of the season during garbage time.
When they were already eliminated.
Yes. Did J.J. play the game against the Packers when he went against the JB team for the Green Bay Packers? Was that J.J.?
But then he pulled himself.
That's right.
Yeah.
Did he get the win for it?
Here's just quick fire stats from J.J. last year. Total QBR, he ranked 34th in the NFL. EPA per play, he ranked 35th. Bad throw percentage, 35th. There are only 32 teams in the NFL.
I got that. Yes.
So, and the minimum drop back is 270 drop back.
He was really bad.
So
he was really bad with a couple good moments that people cling to. Even we talked about this last year. The fourth quarter comeback he had in week 1 against Chicago Bears, which, by the way, it ends up looking like a much better win later on in the season. At the time, you're like, oh, this ain't that great of a win. He was great in that fourth quarter. He was awful the first 3 quarters, biblically bad, awful. And just happened to cover up with one decent quarter. Most statistical evidence of J.J. McCarthy last year, and I get it. There are quarterbacks who've been in this spot before, where they've been in the league for 2 years. Teams give up on them, and we're worried that they're going to come back later on and beat us. The other part is he wasn't the first quarterback taken in his draft either. I mean, there were 4 quarterbacks taken ahead of him. Now, they've all turned out, well, other than Penix, they've all turned out to be shown some pretty good flashes. But he wasn't a no-brainer prospect coming out of the NFL draft. He was frankly drafted that high because that's just what's happened with quarterbacks. They all get drafted high.
Here's a text. Matt in Rosemont. J.J. McCarthy has 6 wins in 10 games, and he's barely played more than half an NFL season. Kyler will play the season, and we will still not know what we have in J.J. This whole franchise is a joke when it comes to making decisions at the quarterback spot. But if you say we don't know what we have in J.J. at this point, I get 10 games, but they were hideous.
Well, I also hate we don't know what we have.
Yeah.
You as a fan, you don't know what we have because you've only seen J.J. play those 10 games. The Vikings and KOC, they have seen him at practice now for 2+ years. They've seen him in practice. They've seen him in training camp. Every game, they are dissecting all of the games and watching back the film. They kind of have a good idea what they have. And I think, you brought up the point of where's all this rage coming on J.J. McCarthy. I think the Vikings did this to themselves by calling this a quarterback competition and making it seem like this is 50-50. They could have shut this thing down in March. And nobody would be clamoring for J.J. McCarthy and complaining about it and being mad. Still no.
Here we go.
Okay, let's just get jumping on now.
We did, after some dialogue in-house and just kind of daily, analyzing the overall of where we're at right now, we did name Kyler Murray our starting quarterback. From the outset of the offseason, I think we've been really intentional, open about, kind of the goal of creating just a competitive environment filled with wildly capable players that could then obviously elevate our quarterback.
Okay.
Hello?
Maybe try looking for him on Twitter. Maybe someone, it's possible, like an engineer with the Vikings, hit a button or something that changed off the... it says, we are taking hits is what I just saw from the Vikings engineer. So why don't you see if it's available on Twitter right now? If not...
It's looking like it's frozen there, too.
Oh, boy. That's not good. It wasn't like it was important news or anything. It's not like anyone wanted to hear what KOC was going to say. All right, well, I'm just going to tap dance for a little bit just in case it comes back because I don't want to go to break and miss the what KOC has to say in case they are able to fix it in any way, shape, or form. At least the engineers over in Eagan are aware of the situation, so I'm assuming they are trying to fix it and address it on their own.
There's a joke in there somewhere. The press conference. Shut down.
I like this text from Como Park Garage Guy. A quote from Mike Zimmer. I see him every day in practice.
You know what's funny is when you were talking about they see him every day, I had to look it up.
Do you think you want to get a look at Mond next week?
Not particularly.
Mike, why don't you want to get a look at him?
I see him every day.
There you have it.
I also saw this texter. It says, wow, we would never have a franchise quarterback if it were up to Tenna. Either look like Pat Mahomes right away or start packing, right? I wasn't asking us to, I'm not like asking my quarterbacks to look like Pat Mahomes immediately. But the way he didn't really get going until year 2. He only played one game his first year. I
think being 35th in total QBR is a far cry.
I endorsed the J.J. McCarthy draft. I liked him out of Michigan. I probably on Purple Prey said I would like the Vikings to draft J.J. McCarthy. We can change our mind, right? Like for every young quarterback that struggles early and excels later on, there's also the Trey Lance. Like one thing that I respect about San Francisco is they gave up 3 first-round picks to move up to get Trey Lance. And they started him. It didn't work out. And they cut bait as quickly as they could. They recognized that this guy was not the answer for them and knew that his trade value would only get worse. Yeah, I think they only got like a 4th-round pick for him. But I respected that they saw that the decision they made did not work and they got out of it. And I would rather have the Vikings get out of their bad choice than try to fit that square peg into the round hole because we drafted them and we have to save face. Don't save face. Give yourself the best chance to win. Still having some issues over there with the Vikings presser.
Yeah, they took the stream off of Twitter, and I just hear music down the line. So, yeah,
all right,
something has gone horribly wrong with the internet.
Let's go to break now. I don't know if they've. I'm assuming then we'll just get quotes online from some of our Vikings reporters. So
I am rolling on it in the other room.
Okay,
if they do start.
All right. Well, if it ends up rolling, or we can also go back if they find it on Twitter on the Vikings Twitter account, we can replay that. If we can't replay it, we'll find some quotes from some of the Vikings journalists that are covering the presser now. So we'll get to that next, right here on the Tennafitzgerald.
It's Brandon Molesky.
A Brandon ship, Aruga.
You're on board the
Tennafitzgerald sailing on. We hit some rough water, some technical difficulties out there in Eagan. So they are not broadcasting the KOC press conference where he announced today that Kyler Murray is the starting quarterback. Seen a couple tweets come on in from some Vikings reporters. Kevin Seifert says, Kevin O'Connell says this is always his timetable, around 9 to 10 practices to make a quarterback decision to provide clarity and move forward. KOC says Kyler Murray has, quote, shown enough. That's not exactly an endorsement. Let's see if we can get any other. Will Regas tweets, Kevin O'Connell says Kyler Murray has shown enough for them to project what he could look like in their offense, and it's time to let him build a comfort level. He says this doesn't take away from what JJ has done in camp, and that he'll remain a key part of the quarterback room, which is a lot of the point I was making yesterday on the Tennafitzgerald was, it doesn't do you any good to be splitting reps between these two. When you have a guy who's coming in from a different organization, needs to learn a new offense, learn the players, like you need to get him as many reps as you possibly can. And I think what KOC is kind of trying to say is not necessarily that Kyler has outplayed JJ so much as we need to start getting him some reps and getting him ready for the regular season. KOC says JJ McCarthy is the Vikings backup quarterback. Quote, he's ready to go. So I'm sure we'll get more tweets and quotes as they come in, and we will relay those to you if KOC says anything interesting. But because of the KOC presser / non-presser, we're going to move back to
for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Brought to you by Willow River Company. Question number 1.
Go Vikings, let's win this game. You'll hear us yell for more.
It's now time to take an in-depth look at the state of the Skull.
Well, there's obviously only one topic, and there's only one question.
Time now for...
And to get it right. We got it right. To get it out when we got it right. And that's when we got it right.
And to get it right.
Get this right. Getting things right to get it right.
Did they get it right?
We're getting it right now. Get things right.
Now, the internet may have not gotten it right, but we know what Kevin O'Connell was saying. Kyler Murray, your starting quarterback, and we've talked about it the entire show, but let's sum it up with one question. Did they get it right?
Just keep listening to the line other way. I am told that at some point they're going to get us the presser. I'm not sure in which manner they will try to get it to us, but if you could just occasionally tune in case they send it down the line there, that would be much appreciated. Oh, they're going to email it to you.
Oh, sweet.
Well,
that's nice.
Do you just have an iHeart email? What's your email?
Yeah, it's just my first name, last name, then iHeart.
At iHeart? Okay,
Yep.
Hold on. Just give me a little music here for a second so I can... We got to get the presser. It's a lot harder in this chair to be communicating. All right.
I'm not surprised I don't have my email.
Hold on, I just wrote an N instead of an M in media. Right next to each other. Fat fingers. All right. Did the Vikings get it right? Well, I guess ultimately we're never going to know until we see him on the field. I'm guessing they got it right. I don't think the timing was right. I think we should have known this back in March. We should have entered the offseason with Kyler Murray as our starting quarterback, and I'm still, and we're not hearing the KFC presser. I'd love to hear the backup part of this conversation, how J.J. McCarthy's feeling, and whether he really is the backup quarterback, or if we're just going to say that he is to enhance his trade value. That'll be the next question. But yeah, this is the choice I would have made. Kyler Murray is the quarterback I would have gone out and got once we hit free agency. And the whole point of going out and get him is to have him be your starting quarterback. So yeah, technically got it right. That doesn't mean it's going to work out. But of the options we have, that is the right decision to make, in my opinion.
Question number 2. Humorous or heinous?
I haven't done that one in a while.
Yeah, I love finding new sound bites. I couldn't find a way to fit it in. I love the funk or junk. That's a good
funk
one.
or junk.
I like that one. Is J.J. McCarthy in a funk or is he junk? We don't know.
Well, it's been like a 3-year funk here.
So this has shocked the golf world. And I stole it from your prep, but I did see it before it.
That's okay.
An amateur golfer has resigned from his membership at a St. Louis area club after admitting to now faking a hole-in-one, a cheating scandal in a membership tournament. Zach Holland, a former college golfer who is now reportedly a 2 handicap, told ESPN Radio in St. Louis the whole story, that he, in a tournament, and there was a pot and money related to hitting a hole-in-one.
They didn't say how much was in the pot. Have we found that? Do we have any indication? Do we know any indication how much is in the pot?
I don't see in this article that I'm reading but there was money related to
I'd like to know how much money's in there.
So Zach Holland.
We talking 4 digits? 5 digits?
Drives up to a maintenance shed before the round starts, goes on to the par 3 green, puts a ball in the hole, and makes a divot, a ball mark to where his ball landed. And then later in the round, an hour or so later, says, I'm going to have to take a call at some point in this round. My grandma is sick, which is horrifying to use that as your excuse, but okay. He then says, I'm going to go ahead and go a hole ahead and tee off on 4 or whatever it was, and I'll meet you guys there. Then I've got to take this call. And then when he went off a tee ahead, hits a hole-in-one, says, boy, I know it was good, but I didn't see it come down. and then his teammates go find the ball in the hole, and the ball mark gets a hole in one. He admits to cheating, and the security footage of the maintenance shed shows that he did it. Is this
humorous or heinous?
Both.
Yeah.
Well, heinous is a little strong. I'm not going to call for death threats. Like apparently there are some out there that are just torturing his family at this moment. That's a little extreme. Yeah, cheating in golf to this level is a huge no. I mean, cheating in golf in general is a no-no. This is like a whole nother level. This is like this isn't, Bryson DeChambeau hit his ball into the long rough at the Open, and at that moment decided, I'm going to stamp down a little bit hard in this grass here. Like that was, it's not like he thought about that ahead of time. This was well orchestrated, and there's money involved, as you mentioned. I also just find it funny, like how he thought he was going to get away with this, right? Like there's too many holes. I'm not talking about golf holes. There's just too many holes in the story. Now, I don't know what the par 3 fourth hole looks like at Winghaven Country Club. I have not played Winghaven. There are some par 3s, right, where you can't exactly, most par 3s you should be able to see the green. But the story behind it of, I thinned it, I didn't know where it ended up. Come on, man. that alone, well, one, you moved ahead of your group. That's suspicious. 2, you go, I thinned it, I don't know where it went. That's suspicious. Mm-hmm. Like the vast majority of par 3 holes, you might not be able to see the ball go in the hole, but you have an idea of whether you're close or not, right? Like, it's not like, well, I'm either in the hole or I missed the green by 50 yards. Like, it's not like my first time I ever got an eagle was on a par 4 at, what is the name of that course in Hudson? White Eagle. Mm. And we were doing the birdies for brains. So we're playing 100 holes, right? And the shot I had was 100 yards, but it's completely uphill to an elevated green. Like you cannot see the green. So I hit the ball, thought I hit it well, but ultimately didn't have an idea of whether it went. Never saw it go in. Clearly, I can't see the green. I get up there, I see the ball in the hole. Hey, I got an eagle on a par 4, right? Par 3s typically, like you're not shooting very often on a par 3 to a blind green that you can't see.
Yeah. So
you would have an idea if the ball was going towards the hole or not, as opposed to some other times off the course where you're shooting it. And like I said, you're shooting at elevated greens that you can't see or they're blind shots. That happens sometimes where you don't see the ball go in. Par 3s, you have an idea. If you thinned it, you saw the line of the ball and you saw it going towards the hole.
Also, if you thinned it, why go through the trouble of putting the ball mark on the green?
Well, yeah, that doesn't
run up to it.
That doesn't make sense. I still remember I didn't have a hole in one, and I was playing Brookview number 12 hole par 3.
All right.
At the time, there was a tree to the right of the green, and then the tree was separating the green from a pond. And it's like a 150-yard shot, and my tee shot is going right of the green, going into the tree. It hits the tree and starts bouncing towards the hole. And at this moment, I'm going, I don't want that to go in. I don't want my hole-in-one story to be that I hit the ball right of the tree, and so the thing went right by the hole and missed a 2-foot birdie putt. I did not deserve a birdie. That's just the golf gods were on my side. But I was actively rooting against, like, that would be the only situation where, you ball hit well right or left of the green, somehow ricocheted off something, went towards the hole, and you weren't expecting it because you weren't. If you just thinned it on a par 3, you would have an idea of I was heading towards the hole.
And that would be a situation where you're rooting against, I jumped up ahead of my group. There's no way they're going to believe me that I hit this hole in one. Don't go in. Yeah.
That just happens to have money involved. I mean, just the whole story from the get-go was, and my favorite part of the story was towards the end. Let me see if I can find the quote.
Well,
it is. Blah, 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 blah.
I wonder if we're thinking of the same quote. Because
the quote where he says he's not a cheater.
I was saying the one where he had to mention that we were giving 2 shots back to the field.
Yeah.
He just had to throw that in there.
Holland said during the interview that he and his family have received online threats, and despite the scandal, insisted that he is, quote, not a cheater on the golf course.
Is that a PST?
I am against the online threats. Your family should have nothing to do with this. I'm against any. People are a little crazy. Like, to say that you're not a cheater on the golf course, you are like the ultimate cheater. You are the cheater of all. You aren't just a guy who messed with your handicap a little bit, or did the old foot wedge when you get the ball in the rough. Like, you orchestrated your cheating ahead of time.
Question number 3.
Time now for an in-depth look at the state of hockey.
And there's plenty of more Kyler Murray talk to come and quarterback controversy being over. But just a quick little detour, because I'm looking at the lines for the Wild.
Oh, boy.
And I'm going to tell you, I'm starting to struggle in this category. Is it time for
panic or patience?
Daily Faceoff has...
Did you mention that Kyler Murray has been named the number 1 starting quarterback?
Kyler Murray is the starting quarterback of your Minnesota Vikings.
Mention that, yeah.
Daily Faceoff has the top line of the Wild projected as Danil Yurov centering Kaprizov and Shabanov, who I...
Do we still know how to say his name? Is it Shabanov? Is it Shabanov?
I don't know what to make of him at all. Is it Maxim or is it just Max? I don't know. Then Eck, Coleman, Boldy, Hartman centering Trenyon and Brink, although we just had Joe Smith say that Hartman's going to be the top center. It's hard for me to look at this and go, we're better. I don't think we're significantly worse, but I don't think we're better. And I'm struggling deciding if I need to have...
panic or patience.
Here's where I'll tell you where we're better. Full season of Quinn Hughes.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the comfort level. And I think Quinn Hughes is one of those that he's going to elevate players around him offensively. He's going to make them better what they are. I do think Coleman on that line is an upgrade over Marcus Johansson. So you could argue that line's going to be better. Yes. I'm very concerned. Yeah, when Zuccarello was allowed to go to the LA Kings in free agency, I said, well, be careful what you wish for. You can talk all you want about, we got to become more north-south and blah, blah, blah. Well, and maybe that'll work with Kaprizov, but part of Kaprizov's game is he's great east-west, and he is great at, how many guys in the league are better than him getting one-timers on those horizontal passes and diagonal passes? And if you don't have a guy who can make those passes to him, that can now have an effect on Kirill Kaprizov. Now, he's a superstar. He's making $17 million. He should be able to elevate the players around him in general, but you got to have someone to work with him. And right now, I don't have confidence Bobby Brink can be that guy. Shabanov is just a complete wild card. I've never seen him play in a game. I've seen highlights of him. His highlights look terrific. The skill level looks amazing, but just because you're skilled doesn't mean you're a great hockey player. How many guys on Instagram right now are unbelievable, like stick handlers and making lots of money on Instagram, but they're not playing in the league. They're not playing in the show. There's a difference between playing in the NHL and just having great hands and great skill. But his skill is there. He looks like he's got first line skill, but I still think they're holding out for a Dylan Larkin trade, and there's still a chance that this roster gets completely changed before the regular season even starts. It just might be a little bit more delayed than we're hoping to. So I would still say be patient, because I'm not certain our current lineup is the lineup we're going to have opening night.
On-air production meeting, do you want one more to try to get to 42, or do you just want to...
let's break now, just in case that KOC presser gets sent to you. I'd like to get that.
Has not.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually, 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
So, yeah, if the KOC presser gets sent to you, we'll air that in its entirety. If not, you have to listen to me talk about my fantasy football league winner at the running back position. Sorry that those are your 2 options. We'll do that next on the Fitz.
You can make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. So let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard text message and data rates apply.
A lot of anger out there on the KFAN text line. Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line 64686 over the decision by the Minnesota Vikings today to name Kyler Murray, quarterback number 1. J.J. McCarthy has been named quarterback number 2. I did see a tweet from Alec Lewis. He says, Vikings HC Kevin O'Connell said the team had pegged this time as the decision point to announce a starter. O'Connell said J.J. McCarthy is currently the backup. The Vikings also have Carson Wentz on the roster. Seifert also says J.J. McCarthy is the Vikings' number 2 quarterback. Kevin O'Connell says he believes McCarthy has a future within the organization.
There's so many great texts on this.
I know. The text line is really... I am surprised. I shouldn't be. It's Vikings. No team in this market creates more emotion out of their fans than the NFL and the Minnesota Vikings. I'm very surprised how many J.J. McCarthy supporters there are.
I'm stunned.
I get I'm not sure about Kyler Murray. But, I had one guy talking to me about how great J.J. McCarthy was the last 5 games of the year and how his stats. And there's a couple things here. One, the stats weren't that great. At Green Bay, he went 12 for 19 for 87 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, he had 2 quality games against Washington when they won 31-0. He went 16-23, 163 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Dallas, they won at 34-26. He went 15-24, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. At New York against the Giants, this must have been a game he pulled himself in, or did they just not throw the ball very much? He went 9-14 for 108 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Final game against the Green Bay Packers junior varsity team, because they held out all their starters. They won 16-3. He went 14 of 23 for 182 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, the Vikings. If you think that's the type of quarterback play, and that was the good part of his season.
Yeah,
that's when the numbers got better.
Weren't they eliminated after the Seahawks game?
Well, that's the other part. Is one,
there's no pressure.
All 4 of those teams. Now, Green Bay doesn't count because they made the playoffs, but you weren't playing their starters. But you were either playing the Packers JV team or 3 teams that did not make the playoffs. Were non-playoff teams. Plus, at that point, you had been mathematically eliminated. There was 0 pressure on winning football games at that point. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to get excited about your 16-3 win over the Packers backups and your 16-13 win against the New York Giants.
Well, tell that to 505 guy who says, without real evidence, you preferred Kyler. When JJ lights it up for Miami, don't come crying to me.
Miami. It's going to Miami. Malik Willis is going to get hurt.
Yeah.
All right. Before we move on to Rosen, you still haven't gotten that presser over there, I'm assuming.
I have not.
All right. So let's move on to, it's time for me to give you another fantasy football league winner. Did this last year. Doing this again this year. I have 4 different positions. We'll get to one throughout the week. Yeah, I like that. Yesterday, I was very homerish, and I said that Kyler Murray was my league winner fantasy football quarterback. Today, we move on to the running back position.
Quack, quack.
This one's not as big of a long shot as Kyler Murray. A guy, ADP right now has him going in the 2nd round. Running back, maybe J.J. McCarthy's future teammate when he plays in Miami. I'm going with Devon Achane or Achane, running back for your Miami Dolphins. Currently being drafted 14th, 15th overall, running back 7, 8, 9 off the board in that range. I actually don't understand why his value has gotten lower, because last season he finished as running back 5. He had 238 carries, 1,350 yards, 8 touchdowns rushing. Also caught the ball very efficiently, 67 catches, 488 yards, 4 touchdowns. When you're in a PPR league, those running back catches are very important. Now, he did all of that around some context here. The Dolphins had the third fewest pass attempts in the National Football League last year, just 479. Only the Commanders and Ravens had fewer last season. So, the 85 targets he resulted in last year resulted in a 19.9% target share, which was 99th percentile among all 1,730 running back seasons with at least 12 games played since 2006. And he's already the most efficient running back in the league. He just needs volume, which in fantasy football, especially at the running back position, volume is king for having a good season. And that's why I'm actually surprised that his value has gone down, because, which I'm assuming a lot of that is attributed to his surroundings. The Dolphins are, let's face it, they're tanking. They're not expected to be a good team. They no longer have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They switched the quarterback out. But here's the supporting cast right now in Miami. Might be the worst in the National Football League. Receivers are, you might as well get the who button ready here. Malik Washington.
Who?
Jalen Tolbert.
Who?
Tutu Atwell. And then they have rookies Caleb Douglas and Chris Bell. And Bell, I think, is still hurt. I don't even know if he's going to be starting the season. But 2 mid-round rookie wide receivers. So you have Achane, who's already the most efficient running back in the National Football League. Now he's going to get volume because they don't have anybody else to get the ball to. Last year he had 238 carries. He's going to get 300 this year. Last year he had 85 targets in the passing game. This year he's going to get $110. Those numbers are going to go through the roof. I think all this is possible because, like I said, there's nobody else on the offense. If they want to compete, they have to get the ball to Achane. And it's not like, one argument I heard is, well, the Dolphins are going to be so bad that they're not going to be running the ball late. Fine. He's going to be the number one option in the passing game. They're going to be dumping the ball off to him when they're trying to catch up late in games. On top of all this, he's only 25 years old. He's entering his 4th NFL season. He's in his prime. He has running backs ahead of him, like a Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor, that could fall off a little bit because of all the carries they've gotten over the years. I think Devon Achane could be running back number 1 this season. Right now, you can get him in the second round of your fantasy football drafts. Devon Achane's a league winner. Is that a little bit better than the Kyler Murray take? Uh-oh.
I mean, anytime you say draft this guy out of the Dolphins offense, you have to be a little hesitant. But I think if you're going to, that might be your guy. The problem is, can they even stay on the field long enough for him to get any type of production? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but
we'll see.
He's going to get all the production. They're not going to go to anybody else. They don't have a receiver. They don't have a receiver on the team that's going to average 5 receptions a game. It's all going to go to Achane.
The downfall of Miami needs to be studied. They had Tyreek.
Well, Brian Flores might be able to help you with that.
Yeah, well, there's that. And Tua looked serviceable for a little bit. Wouldn't say he was a superstar. But
yeah, well, then he had all the concussion issues.
Yeah, and there's that.
Before we go to Mark Rosen and get his thoughts on Kyler Murray being named the number 1 starting quarterback for your Minnesota Vikings, big day for you. Are you celebrating today?
Well, of course. I don't know why, but I am.
What do you mean you don't know why? How are you not celebrating?
I'm giddy.
What'd you eat for lunch today?
I think I'm.
What'd you eat for lunch today?
I had a little pizza.
Was there cheese?
There was a lot of cheese.
There's a lot of cheese on that pizza?
Yeah.
Are you going to maybe get some cheesecake tonight for dessert celebration?
Put 107 candles on it.
Yeah. Congratulations. Your Green Bay Packers turned 107 years old today.
Yes!
Their organization founded on August 11th, 1919. What a glorious run for your Green Bay Packers. So happy birthday to your Green Bay Packers.
And just had the brilliant idea of, hey, we're in small town and we need money for a stadium things. Let's just have this be a public entity.
Yeah, and just play a couple of our games in Milwaukee while we're at it.
Well,
I'm so glad that ended. That didn't make sense.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
The funny thing is, so I look at the Green Bay Packers birthday, and so then I'm like, well, what are some other dates that happen in Minnesota sports on August 11th? On this day in 2019, the Vikings traded a 5th-round pick for kicker Kari Vedvik. Remember that one? Kari, traded for a 5th-round pick, lasted 20 days. He was waived on August 31st after losing the kicker job to Dan Bailey. If you recall, he was kind of like a kicker-punter combo. Like that's what he did in college, and people thought it was possible he had a big leg, might be able to do that in the National Football League. He went like town to town, up and down the dial in the National Football League after he was done. And so I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole to see what Kari Vedvik is doing these days and what happened to Kari Vedvik. He's playing for the Vikings. Not the Minnesota Vikings, the Oslo Vikings. There's American football in Europe, and he is playing. He is the kicker. Actually, he's not even the kicker. He's the punter. Apparently, he couldn't win the kicking job. He is the punter for the Oslo Vikings. And also, by the way, the Oslo Vikings dynasty. All they do is win championships. There is a Vikings football team on this planet that is winning a bunch of championships. It just happens to be in Norway. Kyler Murray, your number one starting quarterback, named today from Kevin O'Connell. We'll get Mark Rosen's opinion on that decision next, right here on the Fitz.
Welcome aboard the